Good morning all. In this lecture we are going to study element of professional correspondence or letter. Means which are the ingredients, or I may say the points that should be included into the letter writing. We are not going to study here personal letter writing. What we are going to study is the element of professional letter or professional correspondence. First of all, we will see one by one all the elements. Then we will see an example of letter. Elements of letter means the points or things that you should write in a letter. Without those points your letter will not be complete as far as professional correspondence is concerned. So first point is a reference number. You can see that in every institute, in every organization, there are two types of register. One is inward register, another is outward register. When we write a letter to another institute or another company, we need to write the reference number into outward register, and then it will be sent to another organization or company. And when any other letter comes from other institute or organization, that we need to have its remark in inward register. So when you are going to write the letter, you have to write the outward reference number, not inward reference number. Here we have given, for example, the name of company, department, whichever that may be, purpose of that letter, in which year it is, and the letter number of that outward register. It is important because without reference number your letter will not be considered as legal one. Second, sender's address. Sender's address may be called as, in professional letter or in business letter, called as letterhead or letter heading. Sender's address including personal letters. See, it's very simple. Your name, your address, pin code, state name or country name, and then your contact details like phone number or email address. It is related to personal, means personally if you are going to write a business letter or professional letter. But if you are going to write the letter with the help of letter pad, what is letter pad we will see in the example. Letter pad, at that time there is a sender's address already written into the printed format. It includes name of organization, logo, address, contact details, phone number, fax number, email address, website address, and other details. These are very much important details because it is there on the letter pad. What is letter pad with the example we will see. But there must be the name of organization, address of organization, then emblem of organization, then phone number, fax detail, website details. All these details are required. Maybe these details vary with the particular, means any organization may have one or less these elements into its letterhead, or maybe having more. We will see it afterwards. Then after writing the sender's address, we have to write deadline or date. There are three types of date writing. British style is first one, second one is American style, third one revised style. In British style, see first of all the day, month and year. It may be written like this one, 23rd October 2012. Or American style, in American first month is there, then date is there, and then year is there. And little difference is there, October 23, 2012. Means in British writing 23rd October 2012. In American, October 23, 2012. And revised is that date, month, comma and year. This is the better way of writing the date. Next, receiver's address. In social letter writing, dear, whatever you can, means there is no such a rule to write a social letter or personal letter. There are no rules. You can write according to your wish. But when you are going to write the business letter, receiver's address will be like this one, designation of a person. For example, if you are writing letter to a particular person like principal, to the principal, like that, college name, address, state, pin code, these details are required. If you are writing a letter to any company, then there will be the manager and the name of company and address of company, or HR manager maybe if you are going to write the application letter. So business letter writing, in that receiver's address means first reference number, second sender's address, third date, fourth receiver's address, then fifth you have to write the subject and reference of letter. Means subject means which is the point or which is the topic of your letter, why you are writing that letter, that must be explained in the subject. Reference means on which basis you are going to write that letter. There is the first reference number. Here is not reference number. Here is the reference. With the help of that, you are going to write the letter. Simple example is given here. Subject: application for the post of junior engineer. In your institute, or maybe you should eliminate that one, because what is important? Post and application. Post is junior engineer, and what is it? Application. It is application. As a result, you should write application for the post of junior engineer. If you are going to invite someone for the guest lecture, what you write? Invitation for the guest lecture. Such a type of topic or subject should be there. With the learning subject, we can understand what is the matter of that later. Reference. Here reference is your advertisement number 2 in Delhi Indian Express dated on 23rd October 2012. Means you are going to write the reference. Without reference, you will not write letter at all. This is not the case. Sometimes we write reference, sometimes we don't write the reference. Suppose if you are going to write inquiry letter to a shop, at that time there is no need of reference for the first letter, because it is inquiry letter. But when you are going to write reply to inquiry letter, at that time you will write reference as our earlier inquiry letter number ... sent to your or sent to your shop or company, like that. Means reference means on the basis you are doing the communication, correspondence with them. And subject means what is the purpose of your letter writing. After subject and reference writing, what is the next is the salutation. We have discussed about the salutation in email writing. Again, I may say that it is the courtesy point of letter writing. We can write the various words: please, dear, respected, request. Such word you can use for the courtesy. Here we are going to how to write salutation, because we cannot salute a person here. If you are face to face, you can exchange handshake, you can exchange hug, but here we don't have that facility because it is in the written format. As a result, salutation is written in the this way. First, personal letter: dear Vijay, whatever you may write, dear, or there are so many, my dear, dear, whatever you are maybe. Personal letter, you should write, if you are writing application letter for the your any document from the office, you write respected sir, respected principal. Such a way personal letter. Respected sir and principal may come here in the business letter, but generally in India, respected sir or dear sir, or respected post of the person, or dear post of the person. When to write respected, when to write dear. If you have any acquaintance with that person, you can write dear. If you don't have acquaintance with that person, you should write respected sir. And especially in the educational field, we use respected sir or respected madam. Then main body of letter. Main body of letter is consist of 3 points. First, introduction. Second, main details. Third, request. Introduction means what? Here I have given thanks praise. Means what? You should thanks. If you are doing continuously letter communication, then you should write thanks for earlier letter response, and then you should praise your you should show the praise to that company. But in first para, introductory matter is required. Means why you are giving the thanks, why you are praising the that particular institute or company, and what is required to do. Means introductory material is there. In detail, you can discuss all those things in the second para. And third para, you have to assure that request, please do the needful. Such things are required. We will see example of it in the last part. Then complementary clause. I have already told you that complementary clause, as far as business letter is concerned, respected sir, if the salutation is there, then there must be the yours faithfully or faithfully yours. If respected sir and madam, sometimes you can write yours truly, truly yours. And but if you are going to write the dear sir or madam, then yours sincerely and sincerely yours. See, what I would like to tell you, if RS relationship is there, means R for respected and yes for sir, at that time you should use yours faithfully, generally, mostly. And if dear relationship means what? Dear sir, then you should use sincerely yours. It is generally accepted way of writing complementary clause. And then last element is the enclosure. Enclosure means what? If you are going to write letter to a particular company, but you have a lot of material or lot of information to share, and at that time you can attach the enclosure to your letter. See, for example, if you are going to write inquiry letter, so you cannot write all the elements required for inquiry. Means suppose you are going to buy benches, computers, laptops, means list is of more than 15 or 16 instruments. At that time you can use enclosure, and in the enclosure you will write list of required information is attached with this letter. If you are going to write job application letter, then you can write resume is attached with it with all testimonial. See, letter is of one page, but matter is more, information is more. At that time you can use the enclosure method and you can attach lot of pages to your letter. That is what enclosure. Again, in short, we will see one by one. First, what is required? See, a reference number, then sender's address, then date, then receiver's address, then subject reference, then salutation, main body divided into three parts: introduction, main, detail and request, then complementary clause, then enclosure. These are the elements of business letter. Again, now we will see the example of it so that it becomes very much clear for us what is the business letter. I said about the letterhead or letter pad. Every company keeps his own letter pad with them, and on the letter pad only we are going to print out our letter. It is the example of our college, Sharins of Technology College of Engineering. Address is here. Then approval by which authorities has given approval to it. And see here principal name, executive director name, and chairman's name. Details are there. This is the level. This is one example of letterhead, and letterhead is already printed on the letter pad. So what you need to do, get a letter pad of your company, type the matter and print out on that. So that is what letterhead. Without letterhead, your letter will not be considered as legal one. One more element is required for the making it legal. See reference number. SIT COE guest lectures 2017-18, and letter number of that year is 625. This number is important. It makes us feel that this is the legal one, and this number is there in the outward register. If you go to that college and if you want to find out it is wrong or right, then you can say that date is 12/1/2018 and number of letter is 625. You will get immediately this letter. Again, this is the sender's address, this is the reference, this is the date, and this is the receiver's address. This is subject. As it is the guest lecture, so we don't have any reference for that one. As a result, reference is eliminated from this lecture, letter. Further, dear sir and DS. DS means here what we need to write? Sincerely yours. This is the complementary clause. This is the, what is it? It is salutation. So DS relationship and RS relationship you have to follow. Here introductory matter. Then main purpose. We feel honored to invite you to deliver an expert lecture on the topic engineering, ethics and morality on 23rd of January 2018 at 10 am. So this is the second paragraph, or we may say details paragraph. Then here we request. We therefore kindly request you to accept our invitation and inspire the budding engineers. So such a way you should write the main body of letter into three parts: introduction, details and request. And again see, thanking you sincerely as the first person who has written the letter, then HOD signature and HOD remark over it, then principal signature and his sign is there, then seal of our college is there. In this way, here address is given. It is eliminated from the letterhead because it may become lengthier one. As a result, it has been shifted to the bottom of the letter or letter pad. So this is what example of business letter. So in the next lecture we are going to study types of business letter and see again letterhead, printed one, day, reference number, date, receiver's address, subject, reference is not there because it is invitation letter for the guest lecture, salutation, main body introduction, second paragraph for the details, third paragraph for the request, then yours sincerely, DS relationship, dear sir, sincerely yours, DS relationship is followed. Who has one more thing here, the person who write the letter is here, then higher authority will be to the right of that one. HOD is higher one, so his next one, and principal is higher to HOD. As a result, this relation we should move from lower authority to higher authority from left to right of the letter. This is all about the letter writing or elements of letter. those elements should be there in your letter, otherwise your letter will not be complete one. And in the next lecture we will study the types of letters. Thank you.